So the next step here is is actually delivering a food first, but not always a food only approach. How do they do that in a safe and evidence-based manner? What's your guidance on that?
So we start off by asking the question you asked at the very beginning, which is it actually a supplement, or is it just a fortified food? And if we've decided it's a supplement, then we go on to the next question, which is it proven to help your health or sporting performance? Which is the second question you asked me today about, how, critiquing the literature, making sure that in our context, it's helpful. And we've mentioned creatine a lot, for example, but there are certain situations where creatine might not be proven to help your specific performance. So it's not just we know a supplement works, it's will it work in this specific context? If the answer is no to any of these two, well, we stop. We don't use supplements and we're on a food-only approach at this point. If you get to the third one, which is no, is there a reason why you can't use whole foods to get it? And that's the 6 criteria we talked about before. If the answer to that is no, then go and use food. So if, for example, we're talking about protein and you're working with a 50-kilo gymnast who needs 80 grams a day, well, then it's quite easy to get them 80 grams, 20 grams of protein 4 times a day. We could do that quite easily. You then might say, it's a 120-kilo rugby player needing 2 grams per kilogram. I can't do it. So now you moved on to the next question, and this is probably the key, or the key next 2 questions. Have you checked the ingredients for prohibited substances? So initially, we can have a look on the ingredients list and see if there's anything there that we're a bit wary of. And this is where I get scared of supplements that have got 100 ingredients, because that makes our job much harder. It's much easier to look at creatine, right? We know creatine in theory isn't prohibited, so we're fine. Well, if it's a pre-trainer that's got 60 herbs in it, we're beginning to get a few warning bells. If the answer at this point is, yeah, we've checked it and I can't see anything prohibited, your next question is, has it been batch tested by a reputable third-party company such as Informed Sport, NSF, BSCG, the Cologne list? There's a few of these now. If it's been batch tested, at that point I say we can then consider the product. If the answer is no to any of these, we don't use. So it's quite hard to get to a point where we say, yes, we can consider it. Then you speak to your athlete, but ultimately it's your athlete's call. Because from an anti-doping perspective, we're still under the 100% me mantra, which is it's the athlete's responsibility what's in their body. What I would say as the practitioner is that a lot of the current anti-doping legislation also applies to athlete support personnel, which is the person advising the athlete. And there are sanctions that would come your way for inappropriate advice. So we need to be unbelievably diligent, not just because we should be protecting our athlete, but if you don't care about your athlete, what about yourself? You will also pick up the sanction. I hope nobody's in that second mantra, but everything I do is in the protection of my athletes. So there's a framework that you can follow where it's a series of questions, and if you answer yes to all of them, then you can sit down and have that conversation with the athlete, help them source the safest possible product, and then let them make the decision themselves.